Hello, BookTube. Well, and then there were two. I know I say that all the time, but it's dark and it's rainy here in Boston, and there's only a few days until Christmas, and there's just two mail packages. So we'll see what we have here, but let's not get our hopes up for any more today. Okay, all right. Well, the very first book out of the chute here has schmutz all over it. Let me see if I can. I want it to be on. It's very pretty. I want it to be on its best behavior here. Oh God, what is this? I have mentioned a few times on this channel, in fact more than a few times, ad nauseum, one might say, that I think 2019 is going to be very strong for historical fiction. And of course, historical fiction comes in all shapes and sizes. And one of the most popular kinds of historical fiction, a little bit surprisingly for me, is historical murder mysteries. Historical murder mysteries are huge. I don't really know why that would be, except maybe that for a couple of reasons, that it gives the writer a chance to write about the past in an evocative way, which is the fun of historical fiction just in general. And also, two, it allows for a greater degree of complexity than exists in the present day. If you set a murder mystery in 1000 BC, you don't have forensics, you don't have DNA. Makes it maybe a little more challenging for the writer, a little more fun for the reader. I don't know that that's true. People still have trouble solving murder crimes in 2018. But anyway, this is an example of historical murder mystery, and a great one too. This is the new Maisie Dobbs novel, The American Agent by Jacqueline Winspear. This is those of you who don't know Maisie Dobbs. Oh my, I have praised this many times. But here's another advanced copy. When Catherine Saxon, an American correspondent reporting on the war in Europe, is found murdered in her London digs, news of her death is concealed by the British authorities. Serving as a linchpin between Scotland Yard and the Secret Service, Robert Macfarlane pays a visit to Maisie Dobbs, seeking her help. He is accompanied by an agent from the U.S. Department of Justice, Mark Scott, the American who helped Maisie get out of Hitler's Munich in 1938, not without great incident. Those are two very interesting male characters. Mark Scott, especially, is a very interesting male character, although Jacqueline Winspear wears her heart on her sleeve. Maisie Dobbs is the star of the show. Macfarlane asked Maisie to work with Scott to uncover the truth about Saxon's death. As the Germans unleash the full terror of their blitzkrieg upon the British Isles, raining death and destruction from the sky, Maisie must balance the demands of solving this dangerous crime with her need to protect Anna, the young evacuee she has grown to love and wants to adopt. Just a tiny little historical gaffe there, of course. Britain was never subject to blitzkrieg. If Hitler had invaded, then Britain would have been subject to blitzkrieg. But an aerial bombardment, absolutely, Britain was. And this is what we all knew was coming at the very beginning of the Maisie Dobbs novels. We knew that war would come. And here it is. So that's great. I'm glad to have another copy of this. That's fantastic. I'm really hoping that I get to write about this for as large an audience as possible. This comes out in late March, and that leaves us with one package. It's going to be a 5-minute mail video, which I would think you would like, but invariably when the mail videos are less than 5 minutes, or 5 minutes, or less than 10 minutes, invariably you all sing out in the comments field saying, why is this so short? So, oh, okay, what is this? Why on earth am I getting this? This is all just publicity material, tour dates. Nothing else? Okay, well, it's a bit of a mystery here. This is out already. It's been out for some time. This is by Isaac Butler and Don Coyce. It's from Bloomsbury. It's a great book. It's called The World Only Spins Forward, The Ascent of Angels in America. And it's an oral history and a sort of a background, a deep background on Tony Kushner's two-play masterpiece, Angels in America, that is having its revival now on Broadway. I've read this early in 2018. I've read this twice. This is just a second finished copy. It's great. I mean, it's a fantastic book. I think that every major Broadway show should have a book like this. I really do. But I guess, okay. Well, one way or another. I'm glad to have a second copy. Those of you who have not seen Angels in America, you really should. There is a movie version that's very, very good, starring Justin Kirk, who does a really good job in the very unenviable lead role. But it also stars Al Pacino, who's great, and Meryl Streep, who's in it many, many times. She plays a few different roles, including a very old male rabbi, and it's very, very good. But no matter how you see it, I mean, you could. I don't know what other versions you would have. There might be maybe a televised version of a play, something like that. But it's epic. It's incredible. So I, of course, highly recommend it. But I don't know why I got a second volume of this. That's kind of odd. But anyway, that is our little mail haul for today. We're over 5 minutes, but we're well under 10. So we have The World Only Spins Forward, which is actually a call out to a sentiment that runs throughout the plays. Because it's kind of hard to explain, but the main character has been visited by a heavenly messenger. And the heavenly messenger is upset because God has disappeared. He has left. He has decamped from heaven. And the council in heaven, the heavenly messengers, blame humans and think that the problem here is that humans make the world spin forward. They make time move. And what they want is for that to stop. For it just to stop. And all of that is entwined in wonderful ways with a whole bunch of other subplots, including the main plot, which is that the main character has AIDS. It's difficult to explain, but one way or another, this is probably, I don't have any trouble in saying this is probably going to be the definitive oral history of Angels in America. I don't see how you could beat it. So I really recommend it if you like Angels in America, if you've read it, that sort of thing. If you want to see, actually, even if you don't know Angels in America really well and you want a book about the nuts and bolts of a Broadway show, this is also a great example of that. And there aren't as many of those as you would think. And then the next book, the other book, is The American Agent, the new Maisie Dobbs novel, which is a cause for rejoicing. If you have read Maisie Dobbs, then you will be squealing with delight. And if you haven't read Maisie Dobbs, if you haven't read that series, do yourself a favor. Go to the library and get the first book, which is called Maisie Dobbs, and read it. If you don't like it, I will be amazed. And if you do like it, you'll be in luck, because there's a long series of books to follow. But I think the Maisie Dobbs fans out there would probably say, ideally, probably don't start with this book. Probably go to the beginning and read that one. Ideally, that would be so. I mean, you heard just from the plot description, there are a couple of characters here that come straight over from earlier books, and there's also a kind of a narrative momentum that also follows through. So I don't know. I often feel like I'm being disloyal to an author I really like to say that you can't just jump right in. But I don't think this is one of those series where you really can. So I don't know. Those of you who are Maisie Dobbs fans, you tell me. Did you start at the very first one, or did you jump in? Because I don't want to sell this short. If you think new readers can jump in here, then by all means, because this will be in your bookstores and in your libraries, and so we know that for sure. But your libraries will also have the first book, Maisie Dobbs. So, but anyway, that is our mail haul for today. There might be more mail, and I think I want to do a Friday Reads as well. So we'll be seeing each other again in this gray and rainy day. But I'll wrap this up for now. Thank you, BookTube.